inspecting larger commercial properties, we know through our research what our HVAC system was. As soon as I saw on the outside of this building during my research phase a cooling tower, I knew there was a chiller because they work together. And if I've got a cooling tower and a chiller, I know I've got an air-to-air exchange going on, and that air-to-air exchange is probably going to be distributed through some form of air handling unit. And behind me is an air handling unit. Now, in this building that we're in today, I was told I've got 21 air handling units, not just this one. Remember, this is an opportunity that you might bring in a specialty consultant to help you with your inspection, especially if your comfort level is one that this system is intimidating. But let me walk you through those parts that might make it a little less intimidating and give you a conversational background. Again, the conversational background is no substitute for a full inspection. And a building that we're in today with 21 of these air handlers is going to have a staff of engineers working in the building every day with their finger on the pulse of this unit, making sure it's running. But for us, let's talk about the very rudimentary system that's behind us. First and foremost, our air is coming from this side and being distributed out this side. And so somewhere between this side and this side, I'm making both heat and cool air. I have a choice. And how I know that is I've got boiler pipes here going to a coil that's inside of this that's producing hot water. And I've got a coil pipe on this side hooked to the chiller units and all those pumps and all that distribution, bringing cold water through cold water side or a cold water coil. And so I'm passing air this way. So if you remember through your training or any of our classes, you've seen that these air handling units, otherwise known as AHUs, are typically installed on the edge or the outer edge of a building because they're bringing in so much fresh air. So again, I draw the fresh air in. As I draw the fresh air in, the first thing I'm doing is passing through a filter array. That's behind this chamber. I don't know if you can hear it or not on the video. This is running. I will never open up any compartments when a system is running, and nor do I shut down systems because I am not of the capacity to be able to re-engage or turn that system on. So pay caution. All I'm doing is noting this is my filter array. I've got an arrow for airflow, and then I'm passing this way. They put a secondary filter system in here as well, and that's just before the cooling coils. Now, the next thing I want to look at, if I've got the heating coils over here and the cooling coils on this side, what is evacuating off the bottom of any cooling coil? Condensation. So let's go look at that next. On our cooling side, and as this is my cooling coil, I do have a condensation drip pan. And that is always, just like any other HVAC equipment we inspect, has to have a drip pan with a trap. Without a trap, as this thing is bringing in air, it's going to suck air from this room, which could be the floor drain or anything else. So this trap that we've assembled here is perfect. It's allowing any condensation that's dripping down this coil to be accumulated and fall directly into this floor drain. Yeah, there's a little bit of splash going on. It's hot outside. We're producing a lot of condensation. And then the air is passed through here and it goes up through the entire system. But one unique feature that we have on this air handling unit or the air handling units in this building is a supplemental safety system to protect this unit called the glycol system, and let's look at that next. When you think of the pure expense and the millions and millions of dollars that are sitting in front of us, any hiccup or glitch in the system could render this catastrophic. And one of the things that could be very catastrophic is the ceasing or failure of either the heating or the cooling half of the system in a very cold atmosphere. And in that case, that could freeze the pipes and the system pretty quick. And so to protect this system, not to protect the building, but it does protect the building, but to protect this system, a secondary assembly has been placed here where instead of using the water from the chiller, it's actually got glycol or an antifreeze type product flowing through these pipes. And all that does is help prevent, in the event of the catastrophic emergency, this system from freezing up. So again, when you're looking at air handling units, there are a lot of different configurations. You need to look at the unit. In our case, in this one, it was a heat and a cool unit. So it's providing both heat and cooling through this air duct. Downline, we're going to find VAV boxes, which are called variable air volume boxes, which we'll talk about in another video. But in this particular case, being distributed through 21 different units, I've got air being sent through this building from this unit. So bring a specialty consultant, follow the CommSop, and stay safe.